Om Sarashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmaracharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Be seated, please. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Very good. Nice to see you all this morning. We continue each week with our meditation sessions, taking up various topics. Here's today's topic, and has to do, we're going to be chanting Om today. And there's a lot of, I think, fairly recent confusion about Om. I'll wait for everyone to be seated. Very good. I see this confusion very vividly, I suppose. Some time ago, I put out a video on my YouTube channel, Om versus Aum. This controversy continues. And there were many people who were grateful for showing the scriptural basis for the recitation of Om properly. But there were many contrary comments about how it's better as Aum, as Aum. And it appears that many or most of them were disciples of Sadhguru, who's very popular in India these days. I usually don't use the names of particular teachers, but today I'm not going to criticize Sadhguru at all. So I can use his name openly. In fact, in my opinion, he's doing a good job in bringing people to meditation and spiritual practice who otherwise wouldn't consider it at all. The very modern, educated culture in India, they look poorly upon traditional things, and Sadhguru is not traditional. So they find themselves attracted to him. So I think that serves a good purpose to a point. It reminds me of Mahesh Yogi coming to this country and Europe in the 1970s. He brought in so many people to meditation who would never have practiced meditation. Of course, what Mahesh Yogi taught was not really traditional. And what Sadhguru teaches is, in his own words, it's not traditional. He is not a sannyasi. He admits freely he has never studied scripture. He's actually proud of that because it means he's something original. So he claims to have never studied the Bhagavad Gita, for example. And he calls himself a mystic. And a mystic is someone who teaches what comes to them through their own personal experience. Whatever that personal experience might be, good, bad, or otherwise, that's what he teaches. And further, he teaches, and I think this is a key for our discussion today, what he teaches is that Aum, is a primordial syllable. This is his language to describe Aum. And that strikes me very clearly then that what he's teaching is not the same as Om of the Hindu tradition. It's different. These are apples and oranges. One is a primordial syllable coming from the lips of a self-proclaimed mystic, and the other is Om, a Sanskrit word and sacred syllable that has its origins with the ancient rishis. It is the first word in each of the 4 Vedas. It is famous for its treatment in the Mandukya Upanishad, where Om is grammatically divided into Ahuma and then related to our states of experience, waking, dream, and deep sleep. And I guess the point right here is these are 2 entirely different things. The AUM, which is a mystical syllable, is not the same as Om as revealed in the Vedas. Now, I think the problem actually I'll talk about the problem in just a moment. Can you meditate using Aum? Why not? You can meditate using any syllable. Mahesh Yogi made up his own mantras. He actually said that. Interesting, these teachers. They're happy, they made it up. Anyway, it works for them, and it works for their followers. It doesn't work for me. Anything I would make up is going to be a mere shadow compared to what was taught to us by the ancient rishis. Why should I make anything up when there is such profound teachings available? So anyway, that's my personal orientation. Anyway, coming back to meditation, there's a famous story that in the, I think, 1960s, a doctor at Harvard University decided to study meditation. His name was Herbert Benson, famous story. And he used the English word one for meditation. And he found that all of his study subjects, which is what they're called, could meditate just fine with one. Why not? One, it sounds like Om. One, Om, Aum, Aing. We'll get into Mahesh Yogis. Haring, Sharim. These are his mantras. Make up your own. Why not? And I might be wrong about this. I have a vague memory of Thoreau saying you should use your own name as a mantra. I might be wrong about that, but I have a vague memory of reading that decades and decades ago. My name might not work. Too many syllables. Maybe Swami. That works. The point is that there's a mechanical aspect to the sounds used for meditation. So Om happens to fit those mechanical aspects. So Om is certainly suitable, but it's not uniquely suitable from a mechanical, when I say mechanical, I mean from a vocalizing standpoint, from the basis of the sound itself. But then for Hindus who have studied scripture, Om is not merely a sound. Om, as I said, found in the Vedas, first word of the Vedas, revealed by the ancient rishis, this word is filled with meaning. Om is a name for Ishvara. Om is a name for Brahman. Om, actually in Sanskrit language, if you want to say yes, and many of you say Haji, or something I don't understand about Hindi, when you just say Ji. For a non-Hindi speaker, that's just sounds a little bit strange. Ha is yes. If you want to say okay in Sanskrit, you say Om. In fact, in rituals, If one priest asks another priest, "Are you ready?" And Om. Yes. It's actually declared in the Taittiriya Upanishad. It said Om is a word of assent, agreement. And then I mentioned already in the Mandukya Upanishad this brilliant unfoldment of a deeper meaning of Om. So I guess the point I'm developing here is that Om is not merely a sound. It is rich with symbolism, rich with meaning, and meaning that comes from the ancient rishis and which has been passed down to us through the ages. Mahesh Yogi called his syllables, he called his mantras, this is Mahesh Yogi's own word, so I'm not criticizing him either. He called his mantras meaningless syllables. He said, you're not supposed to get any meaning. You're not supposed to imagine a deity in your mind as you're chanting it. You're just supposed to focus on the sound. That was his approach. Not very traditional, but that was his approach. Well, it looks like this Aum has some similarity. Like Mahesh Yogi made up Haring and Shirim and Aing and so many other mantras in the same way. As a mystic, Sadhguru made up Aum. Yeah. No harm in that. Mahesh Yogi made up mantras. They worked for people. Sadhguru has every right to make up Aum and teach it to his disciples. Does it work for meditation? Why not? But to me, 2 points. One is, it's not the same as Om. He's teaching something completely different. And secondly, to me, there's a big loss. I find such value in this sacred tradition that's come to us over thousands and thousands of years. And the longer I have been immersed in this tradition and teaching from this tradition, my respect for it only continues to grow and grow and grow. So when someone turns his back on tradition, to me, that seems like a big loss. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's hurtful. Neither. It's neither wrong nor hurtful. It is what it is. It's turning your back on tradition and giving up all that was taught by the ancient rishis and passed down through the ages. Now, finishing this discussion up, the problem I noticed in the comments is that there's no differentiation made in many people's minds between the Om of the Vedas and the Aum of Sadhguru. If we just make these separate, there's no problem. No problem at all. Om, taught by the Vedas, and Aum, taught by Sadhguru. And you get to choose. That's one wonderful thing about the Hindu tradition in general. No one pushes anything down your throat, so to speak. There's no pope in Varanasi telling you exactly what is the proper dogma that you have to follow. And so that we find that in some other religious traditions. We don't find that in the Hindu tradition, which is then to just support what I said. What Sadhguru is doing is not wrong, nor is it harmful. On the other hand, to give up so much unnecessary, why should we give it up? That part I don't understand. Why be, I'll choose my words carefully because I don't want to criticize them. Why be allergic to the scriptures? What's the point? Just one, as long as I'm talking about teachers, Osho, who I can freely criticize, Rajneesh, I don't mind criticizing him. He was very interesting. His students would often complain, what you're saying now is not the same as what you said last year. And he would say, well, why should it be? He was very spontaneous in the moment, teaching whatever he came to him. He was an extraordinarily free spirit, which had some unfortunate consequences we won't get into. But anyway, I want to make this point about Scripture. He would frequently criticize Scripture as being dogmatic, being authoritative. Why should you submit yourself to the authority of these Scriptures? So that was a point. He was very much a rebel, a renegade, what is a fancy word? Iconoclast is a fancy word for that, which described him very, very well. At the same time, he himself studied all the Scriptures and drew from them very heavily and quoted from them in his classes. Now, if you were here to ask him, how could you on one hand criticize Scriptures, on the other hand quote from them? He would say, "Why not?" That was his orientation. Very unique teacher. Anyway, my point is here with regard to Scripture. Why be allergic to Scripture? If we have such a valuable scriptural tradition, why not make use of it? If you find some parts of it are not helpful, if you find some, the ritualism of the Karmakanda of the Veda, well, if you find some parts of the Scripture are not helpful, fine, set it aside. Again, there's no pope in Varanasi telling you what to do. You get to choose. So the portions of the Scriptures which are valuable and helpful, let us incorporate them. The parts of the Scriptures that are not very helpful or relevant, let us set them aside. But to set the whole scriptural tradition aside, or to have some kind of negative attitude or allergy, as I said, towards the Scripture, seems to be a very unfortunate attitude, very unhelpful, in my opinion. Okay, that being said, now we know why we chant Om and not the other one. By the way, there's a hilarious joke about chanting the other one. Watch the video to get the joke. I'm not going to tell the joke here. If you haven't watched that video, I think after today's discussion, I think you'd be very interested in going a little bit more deeply into it. So it's on my YouTube channel. I forget, Om versus Aum or something. I don't remember the title. Anyway, you can just go look it up on YouTube. Now, for our meditation today, using Om, obviously. Also, we're going to use Om. There are many, many ways of using any mantra, including Om. One of the many ways is to combine the use of a mantra with some form of pranayama, breathing exercises. And an excellent way to chant Om at home. Many of you have learned in our classes this Ujjayi Pranayama. If you haven't, you can find that on our website or on the YouTube channel. And to combine Ujjayi Pranayama with Om is just an excellent, powerful technique. You inhale and then silently recite Om with a slight constriction of your air passage. Inhale, exhale, chanting Om with the exhalation. It's an excellent, excellent technique. A good technique for you to do at home. Today, when we're together here, we have an opportunity to chant aloud together, which is a wonderful practice. I think we all enjoy it. So we're going to chant Om as usual, aloud, then softly, then finally in silence. But we're also going to combine it with a form of pranayama. And the way it works, very simple. You're going to take a deeper than normal exhalation, and you're going to chant Om for a very lengthy time, not extremely long, but a fairly long time. It'll sound like this. And you inhale only through your nose. Just listen. Deep breath. That's all we're going to do. So by breathing more deeply and by extending the time that you keep that Om going, you're introducing an element of pranayama into your technique. And to recite it out loud, especially with a group like we have here, it's a very powerful kind of meditation. So with that introduction, we will begin. All right, let me get ready here. Good. All right. Okay, you can begin closing your eyes, sitting with your backs erect. Tuck your tailbone back into the chair a little bit if you need to. Take a deep breath, take a moment to get settled down. We begin with a sankalpa, in which we acknowledge the fact that we have busy, complicated lives with lots of unresolved problems and concerns. We don't want to be distracted by any of that while we meditate. So right now, we give ourselves permission to set aside all our problems and concerns just for the next 20 minutes. For the next 20 minutes, we can give ourselves exclusively to this meditation. Now, a brief exercise to concentrate the attention and relax our bodies. Start by turning your attention to your feet. Become aware of a sense of pressure as your feet press down on the floor. Feel the firmness of the floor beneath you. Be aware of other sensations in your feet, like touch of your clothing, warmth, coolness. And notice if there's any tension in the muscles of your feet. And let go of that tension. Then your ankles and calves, in the same way, become aware of sensations, pressure, warmth, coolness, touch of your clothing. Notice any tension in your ankles and calves and let go of that tension. Now your knees and thighs, in the same way, become aware of sensations. For example, notice the weight of your hands or arms where they rest. Be aware of sensations and let go of any tension. Now, the trunk of your body, feel the weight of your body pressing down on the seat. Feel the firmness of the seat beneath you. Let go of any tension. Your lower back and stomach together. Let go of any tension. Your upper back and chest. Notice the touch of your clothing that hangs on your body. Relax the muscles of your shoulders, your upper arms and elbows, your forearms and wrists, your palms, fingers, right up to your fingertips. Let go of any tension. Relax the muscles of your neck, head, face, your entire body. We'll begin by chanting Om 3 times, quite softly, and be sure to match my pitch. We'll recite together, aloud, then softly, finally in silence. First time, listen and repeat. Be sure you begin each chant with a deep inhalation through your nostrils. Listen. Listen. Big inhale through your nostrils. Repeat. Listen. Listen. Be sure you come down when I come down. Repeat. We'll chant together now. Allow your mind to get absorbed in this very profound mantra together. chant more softly now. Chant silently now, in silence. You can chant softly. Om Tat Sat.